I'm so happy that that ceiling, this particular one, was broken. Now for the next one.
Scottie, I know you want Donald Trump to be the next president of the United States, but what does it say to you that a woman finally has become the presumptive nominee of a major American political party?
Well, I think it's a great thing, but let's remember, Wolf, we've been trying as vice presidential candidates we've had Sarah Palin, we have Geraldine Ferraro. I mean, there has been women that have risen up to be the point of the White House or to be in second in command. This is great. This is wonderful. But I have to tell you, this is a different generation. Nobody is going to tell my daughter that she couldn't be president. That's not even in her vocabulary. That might have been in my mother's vocabulary, but it was not in mine. It's definitely not in my daughter's. And when you're sitting here, and we're going to sit here and say, okay, great, congratulations. Now let's move on. We also have to remember, this is also the first candidate to be under FBI special investigation as well, being the nominee of a major presidential party. So there's two sides to this, and let's start actually looking at what she's done and what she wants to accomplish, and let's take the gender card out of it. Congratulations, you got your banner. Let's actually move on and look at the policies and her track record.
Do you think, Scottie, it puts pressure on Donald Trump to name a woman as his vice presidential running mate?
Absolutely not. He is going to name the person who is most qualified, regardless of their gender or their color. And let me point this out. Back in 2008, yes, it was a wonderful thing that we elected Barack Obama, who was an African-American male, into the presidency of the United States. People, though, elected him, hopefully not just because of his skin color, more importantly about what he wanted to offer. And I think that's why the majority of people did. Now, 8 years later, are we in better race relations today than you were 8 years ago? A lot of people think not. I don't want people polls thinking we're going to make a difference, elect a woman, thinking that guaranteeing that 8 years from now gender equality is going to be guaranteed. We've seen the track record. I think folks need to go to the poll based on just exactly who they believe in is best for our country, not their race or their gender.
Let me let Governor Granholm respond to that.
No, I mean, what I think is terrific about this is that once a woman is in those positions, you see policies flow. So we are the only industrialized nation, for example, that doesn't have parental leave, paid parental leave. We don't have access to universal child care. We don't have the policies that would enable young women to be able to fully take advantage often of what society has to offer. She would never say to vote for her because of her gender, but this is a massive step forward for the nation, and that's good. And believe me, the contrast with Donald Trump is going to be so stark and so apparent. And her message last night, when you were playing that little thing, I was just, because it was so inclusive and uplifting. She's trying to build a nation that looks like America, whereas he is out there spewing these racial statements that are exclusive. She was talking about building bridges. He's talking about building walls.
Scottie, go ahead.
Well, it's funny that you talk about that. Was a great montage. Congratulations to your editor. You left out a couple clips. You left out the clip where she sat there and told coal miners that they weren't going to have the job, and the man in tears asking her about that. She does not have this wonderful track record. And when we sit here and we think about everything that's going on right now in our country and our economy, you cannot sit there and say that Hillary Clinton is 100% pro-woman when you look at her track record of the Clinton Global Initiative sitting there paying less to their women. When you sit there and look at her supporting countries, taking money from countries that do not support women's rights or homosexual rights within their country. Her track record, she can say one thing on the campaign trail, but the actions are not backing up. Unlike Mr. Trump, you might not like his tone or his voice.
Does Trump support equal pay, Scottie? Does Trump support a woman's right to choose? Does Trump support access to white women's health care?
Hey, guess what? Equal work, equal pay is not, or equal, right to choose. That is actually something we actually are fighting for women's rights, the unborn woman's right. We are pro-life for a reason. We want all women to have the chance to live, and men as well. So yes, I consider him to be very feminist when it comes to the pro-life era. And when you look, it's equal work for equal pay for equal work. That's exactly what Mr. Trump. He does not sit there and judge. And if you look at it, he has a better track record with promoting women within his own organization with jobs he has given, rather than what Hillary Clinton has done, who the jobs she has created, she pays the women less than she does the men. And in her own Senate office, she was called out for paying the women less than she did the men within it. So, you got to sit there and actually look at the action.
All right, Scottie, hold on.
I'm just going to say there's a story just this week, Scottie, that showed that he pays the women on his campaign significantly less than he pays the men. I mean, the reality is, what are his policies going to be going forward? What are his policies going to be able to help women and men succeed? I guarantee you that when she talks about access to income, making sure that pay is equal, act equal pay, Lilly Ledbetter Act that was signed by the president. My guess is if you asked that of Donald Trump, he would not support that. The access to health care is a critical issue for women getting ahead. And when you talk about denying them access to contraception, that hurts women. My guess is that he's going to be against that because that's what the Republican Party is against.
All right, Scottie, go ahead.
And that's the funny thing you said, you guessed. That's a guess right there. And let me tell you, you know how he's going to help women? He's going to repeal and he's going to replace Obamacare. The number one thing that is hurting women today, because our insurance rates have gone 2 to 3 times up, and we cannot afford insurance right now thanks to Obamacare. And she wants to continue that and embrace this economy that Obama has given us. No, he wants to replace it with a competitive system that will actually make our prices go down.
Which would include contraception?
It's all about, you know, isn't it funny? It's all about choice. It goes to the states. He's going to give it back to the states and those states exchanges and let them make the decision, not sit there and force it down the throat and make taxpayer and the government pay for it.
So he supports the fact that the states are closing down all of these Planned Parenthood clinics, that there is a complete effort on the part of the states with Republican governors to shut down women's access to health care. I'm certain that he supports that as well. This is why there will be such an important choice in the fall.
You need to separate women's health care from abortion. They're two separate things. Yes, if they are sitting there doing taxpayer-funded abortions, those should be shut down.
There is no taxpayer-funded abortions. There is no taxpayer-funded abortions. No, there is not. Do not pay this is what the problem is.
It is taxpayer-funded.
They are deceiving people as usual. There is no taxpayer-funded abortion. It is illegal.
If they are paying for the electricity to be on, the water to be run, if they are paying for the services, then yes, it is. Those actions are happening because of taxpayer funds, and it's not right.
Scottie, hold on.